A person is holding a hose, spraying water, while a group of people stand in front of a tall building, passing black bags, in the fake rain. Is this a movie shoot? No, this is Chinese officials braving the rain for flood rescue. Doesn't this staged scene look convincing? On July 7th, Shandong experienced heavy rain, leading to flooding in many areas. A video from Pingyi County shows 3 policemen rescuing an elderly man from a submerged red car in waist-deep water. The man exits the car, tightly grips the policeman's hand, and expresses his gratitude. The policeman then thoughtfully hands the man an umbrella and helps him wade through the water, creating a heartwarming scene. However, people were quick to criticize. As soon as the video was posted, someone claimed, "That car is mine. How dare you use my car for your staged scene? Aren't you afraid of being struck by lightning?" After being exposed, the officials quickly explained that the man being rescued was searching for his family in the flood and got trapped in the car, which wasn't his. They claimed the car owner understood after they explained the situation. Netizens weren't convinced and ridiculed the explanation. So he was looking for his family, couldn't find them, and decided to get into somebody else's car? Are you saying he walked to the red car, found he couldn't continue, and then trapped himself inside and called for help? Many netizens expressed their skepticism. Is there anything real in this society? In our society, nothing should surprise you, because only ghosts know that they're doing things that even ghosts won't do. Their existence is based on deception, intimidation, and violence. Repeated disasters and staged performances by officials have not enhanced their image, but have instead revealed the truth to more Chinese people. After the breach of the Dongting Lake Levy in Huayuan County, Hunan Province, many questioned the 8.5 million RMB spent on reinforcing the levee. Some claimed the breach at Tuanzhou Dike had only a thin layer of cement over mud, and the breach was caused by water seepage in the mud that wasn't promptly addressed. In response to the public's doubts, a Hunan Water Resources Department official explained that the first phase of the reinforcement project targeted 6 key dikes, but Tuanzhou Dike was one of the 24 flood storage dikes in the Dongting Lake area and wasn't included in the first phase. This explanation angered citizens. Tuanzhou Dike is the most dangerous in Dongting Lake, and it's not prioritized for reinforcement? Tuanzhou Dike should have been reinforced. Do your research before speaking. If you want us not to believe rumors, show us substantial evidence. Publish the documents listing the first phase projects. So we're in a flood storage area meant to be flooded? Despite the constant bad news, China's Central Television, CCTV, delivered good news to the public. Ironically, the CCP's habitual lying has turned netizens into prophets. Recently, CCTV reported that this year's summer grain production in China reached 180 billion kilograms, an increase of 4.35 billion kilograms from 2023, setting a new historical record. The report claimed that overcoming multiple natural disasters made this bumper harvest hard-won. The report stated that the per-unit yield of summer grain reached a new high of 2,025 kilograms per acre, with wheat yield 10 kilograms more than in 2023. The recovery growth in yield is cited as the main reason for the increased production. Netizens sarcastically responded, "As predicted, summer grain production increased by 2.5%, setting a new record. This bumper harvest ensures our food security." Clearly, netizens do not believe these statistics. It's widely known that China has been hit by numerous natural and man-made disasters over the years. Recently, floods, droughts, locusts, and ice storms have occurred together, leading to crop failures. The government's erratic policies, like moving rice farming to mountains and reforesting farmland, add to the chaos. How can there be an increase in grain production, setting record highs every year? As netizens say, even ghosts won't believe it. Take this year, for example. Since early April, the south has been flooded while the north suffered from drought. Southern China has been ravaged by floods for over 3 months, affecting almost all southern provinces. The north has seen unprecedented droughts, with no rain for months. Major wheat-producing areas, including Henan, Hebei, Shandong, and Anhui, have experienced severe drought followed by flooding, devastating crops. Rather than an increase in production, it's likely there has been a significant decrease, which the government would never admit. The Chinese government's habit of falsifying data is consistent across various sectors, including industrial, agricultural, population, and unemployment statistics. Grain data has long been questioned. Someone analyzed China's grain data from 2007 to 2017 and found that the National Bureau of Statistics reported grain output was always higher than actual production, with discrepancies ranging from 2.6 million tons in 2007 to 44.2 million tons in 2016. The cumulative discrepancy over 10 years reached 257.9 million tons, roughly half of the 2007 grain output. Where did this phantom grain come from, and where did it go? No one knows. The phrase, holding our rice bowls firmly in our hands, was coined by Chinese leaders, but under the CCP's rule, can ordinary people really keep their rice bowls steady? On May 14th, Phoenix News reported that villagers in Chengcheng County, Shanxi, revealed that local high-standard farmland irrigation facilities were fake. Photos showed water pipes embedded in the fields, but when dug up, they were just cement blocks, with no pipes or wells. Essentially, these irrigation facilities were a sham. According to public records, the project had a total budget of 67.2 million RMB, including 53.5 million RMB from central government funds, 13.1 million RMB from provincial funds, and 640,000 RMB from city funds. As the incident gained attention online, local officials responded, saying they had immediately launched an investigation. They issued a statement on May 14th, claiming the project was part of the 2022-2024 high-standard farmland reconstruction and had not yet been completed or inspected. They said the water outlet was installed by the contractor without approval and promised to halt work and inspect all high-standard farmland projects in the county. The official response was essentially, "It's a misunderstanding. This is an unfinished project and shouldn't be counted." Netizens mocked the explanation. Isn't this laughable? Just a misunderstanding? No one is held accountable? If it wasn't reported, it would have gone unnoticed. One said, "It's hard to believe someone could be this bold." Another replied, "What's unbelievable here? They can get away with it, so they dare to do it." A netizen from Shandong said, "In our hometown, there's just a cement block in the field, nothing else." A netizen from Henan added, "Come to Henan and see for yourself, it's the same here. Once, these were tofu dreg projects, now there's not even tofu dregs left." A netizen from Liaoning said, "In our village, each household got a toilet installed, but there's no water connection or sewage system. Go figure." A local from Shanxi commented, "The winning bid for this project was 1.6 million RMB. Those who work in construction know that this amount of work can't be done for that price." A 67 million RMB project with a winning bid of 1.6 million RMB, is it the audacity of the contractors or the local government? Netizens could only laugh at the official explanation. Such an official response, it's funny and sad at the same time. What's laughable is that the officials themselves might not even believe their explanations. So, who is truly pitiful? In the south, farmers are kneeling in the flood, begging the heavens to stop the rain. Many places are submerged, and farmers have lost their homes and fields. In the north, multiple regions have not seen rain for months. Henan, Shandong, Anhui, Shanxi, and Shanxi are experiencing severe drought. They're asking, how will the crop survive? When will it rain? Heaven, please help them. Villagers, desperate for rain, are burning incense and kneeling in the scorching weather. After a long drought, the heavens finally granted a brief 10-minute rain. The netizen who recorded the video mentioned that his mother was overjoyed, coming out into the rain to kneel and bow to the sky. He commented, "This kneel is a farmer's reverence for heaven." After enduring so much hardship, the Chinese people are beginning to abandon the CCP and return to the heavens for mercy. Reverence for heaven and fear of gods is human nature, but the CCP has used atheism, lies, violence, and brainwashing to portray itself as the people's savior, suppressing this natural inclination. However, lies told too often tend to be exposed. In June 2024, China experienced widespread flooding, and a search notice went viral online. Has anyone seen him this year? Carefully observe these 3 identical photos. The left one was posted by the People's Daily on July 20th, 2020 on their Weibo video account, showing firefighters in Wuxi, Jiangsu, by Taihu Lake. After hours of flood rescue, they managed to fix a dike breach and sat by the roadside to eat, with one firefighter holding his meal and falling asleep while eating. The right photo was posted by the official Weibo account by the Shanghai District Fire and Rescue Brigade, dated January 10, 2021. Of course, it's impossible to be fighting floods in Shanghai in January, but it's conceivable that these firefighters could be from Jingshan. Maybe they borrowed the People's Daily image to highlight their achievements a few months later. The most ridiculous instance is the Weibo post from the Hebei Communist Youth League. It's the same person and image, but the location and date have been changed. The flood relief scene moved from Taihu Lake to Hebei, dated August 3, 2023. They even noted that the content was sourced from Hebei Daily. Netizens were astonished. Is this time-traveling disaster relief? Parallel worlds? This poor soldier has been asleep for 3 years. Will he show up at Dongting Lake next? Another netizen joked that this year at Dongting Lake there will be no eating and sleeping, just waving flags. This brings us to the scene when the breach at Dongting Lake was sealed. As the reporter said, the last truck of stones is heading to the breach. The Dongting Lake dike is sealed. People on both sides of the breach, holding red flags, cheered and celebrated. One netizen commented that all that was missing was some music, like the Spring Festival Gala theme, This Unforgettable Night. Principal Chow, a Peking University graduate with 21 years of educational experience, said,
After watching the video of the levee being closed, did you feel upset? Many of our teachers felt the same way. Why did you feel disgusted after watching it? Look at the entire scene, multiple camera angles, lighting, and so many people around. Are they the public or actors? And the atmosphere is one of celebration and laughter. They are already celebrating. What about the people affected by the disaster? If this is a scene, isn't it a bit too disconnected? People are still suffering, and you're celebrating. Is this something to celebrate? Doesn't matter if you're sad. I'm going to celebrate. What's the point of releasing such a video? It's hard to accept.
From July 5th to the 15th, 10 days have passed. What's the current condition of the Huarong Tuanzhou dike, which was submerged due to the Dongting Lake breach? A netizen posted a partial video. This is the situation of the dike on July 15th. The netizen said that with the continuous pumping by fire trucks, the water level in the dike has dropped by about 0.8 meters, and some houses have started to emerge from the water. The video shows pumping trucks with banners hanging on the dike, still pumping water. The receding water reveals a mess, yellowing corn stalks, scattered trees, and a desolate scene. Dead poultry and fish are everywhere, and there is still deep water in the low-lying areas. Local netizens said that the lowest areas still have about 4 meters of water, and other places around 3 meters. The entire dike area stinks. Experts said it would take 17 days to drain all the water. It's been almost 10 days, and only a tenth is drained. Can it be done in another 7 days? Can houses soaked in water for so long still be livable? Who will compensate for the lost fish, shrimp, and dead poultry? Netizens questioned whether the officials, while preparing flags, cameras, and lights for the closing ceremony, had thought about the disaster victims. Celebrating disasters is the CCP's consistent practice. They downplay the disaster's consequences and exaggerate the relief efforts. Ultimately, a human tragedy becomes an occasion to sing praises for the party, leaving the people with no choice but to express their gratitude tearfully. The CCP has often used this tactic in the face of disasters. In the 1998 floods, countless homes were destroyed, and people's lives and property suffered enormous losses. A celebration ceremony after the disaster relief efforts made people remember a song called "Who Are You?", which asked the victims to be grateful to the government and the party's army for saving them. No one mentioned the homeless victims and the deceased compatriots. In 1998, the Yangtze River Basin in China experienced a catastrophic flood. Although the CCP's media uniformly described the flood as a once-in-a-century disaster, many water conservancy experts believed that it was not particularly severe. However, it affected nearly 400 million people, caused about 5,000 deaths, and resulted in direct economic losses of over 300 billion RMB. Many experts believed that the flood was not just a natural disaster, but also a man-made one. If the then CCP leader Jiang Zemin hadn't refused to divert floodwaters to protect his fortune, the disaster's impact could have been much less severe. Since then, local governments have learned a trick. Every flood is once in a century. The 2008 Wenchuan earthquake saw countless children buried in rubble due to shoddy construction. A celebration gala made 460,000 wronged souls a thing of the past. The elegantly dressed hosts singing praises made people remember that only the Communist Party is good and only socialism is good. 2 years ago, during a major flood, a farmer was saved and shouted, "Long live the Communist Party all the way." Whether it was staged or not, we cannot say, but people protesting unpaid wages by chanting, "Long live the Communist Party" in front of the county government might be closer to the truth of Chinese society. These two men, who were owed construction payments, could only lay on the ground in front of the county government, shouting "Long live the Communist Party" in protest. However, instead of getting a response from any official, they were threatened by security guards, who told them, "You can record, but if you post it online, you'll be responsible for all the consequences." Why is "Long live the Communist Party" heavily promoted in one instance, but met with threats in another? Because the shouts for unpaid wages tear apart the CCP's mask of being the people's savior, revealing its rogue nature that ignores public suffering and engages in blatant robbery. Recently, a term has become popular on the Chinese internet: historical garbage time. This concept, introduced by the Austrian-American economist Ludwig von Mises, refers to a period when history deviates from economic principles, individuals are powerless to change it, and failure is inevitable. This is the historical garbage time. Currently, with China's economy in sharp decline and constant man-made disasters under CCP rule, the public has reached a consensus that the CCP regime has entered historical garbage time. Before the CCP's upcoming third plenary session, many official media and scholars suddenly criticized this concept, claiming that historical garbage time doesn't exist and is even more dangerous than the lying flat philosophy. However, netizens' comments hit home. Once they start refuting, it means garbage time has indeed begun. It really is historical garbage time. The situation was set in stone when the Constitution was amended in 2018. Just wash up and go to sleep. There's an old Chinese saying, "Water can carry a boat but also overturn it." The day the Chinese people abandon the CCP will be the day of the CCP's downfall.